In recent weeks, there's been a relentless onslaught of illegal immigrants crossing the border around the clock. Many of the people are unaccompanied children, some with highly contagious and dangerous diseases. Here's the question: how should the church respond to the needs of these people? A, they should be sent home and taken care of by their families. They can enter our country legally if they want to. B, churches should send mission teams down to the border to personally care for the needs of people. C, we should pressure the government to take care of the needs. Or a bonus one, D, I don't like to talk about politics, so I'll pretend nothing's happening. Mike Boost.
Mike, you're in. Dan called it out. You're up.
Okay, I want to do a combo though. I like A and B.
You're always a combo.
I know. I can't help it though.
It's a black and white world.
It's not. This issue is the one that's really put me in the straits because I don't know. Like there's a separation between country and the kingdom of God that is starting to get wider for me. Like it didn't used to be wide. It used to be one and the same. God and country. That's the way it lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm like I'm looking at this story like this morning. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't look at people right? I look at them with designations that God did not put on them. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, I don't know. Like the implications of where my heart is, there's more to it than that. Like if I just say, look, they need help, let's help them. You know what I'm saying? There shouldn't be a whole lot of squander here, but like that does have broader implications on security of say that a nation, which God does not ask you to forfeit. But so I don't know. My heart's torn between a couple things. I really don't. I don't know that I trust, say, our government to handle this correctly with God's heart. But then on the other hand, I don't know. I'm going with A and B. I'm saying, yeah, go down there and take care of them as they cross. And B, we need to send folks across the border and help them where they're at. That's where I'm at. It's got to be both. It can't be just one. Booba?
So I think that I'm torn between A and B. I don't think I agree with both of them, and I'm trying to figure this out. So A was we send them back, let their own families take care of them. B is the church sends missions down to them. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Dang it, I'm sorry. I'm a combo between B and C. That was one, help them at the border, and C, send someone across the place, right?
Yeah, one's have the government do it,
Yeah.
and one's have the church do it.
Oh no, yeah, I vote for church. Sorry.
Because see, here's my reasoning on that is it's easy to sit back here in Des Moines, Iowa, and go, yeah, someone should do something about that,
Yeah.
and then do nothing.
Oh no,
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm
So-
solid B. I confused the two. I'm B solid. Church. Yeah, I'm on church responsibility. Sorry.
I agree with the church's responsibility, but
No, that's a mistake. Go ahead.
oh, okay. Thanks, Mike. I agree with the church's responsibility. That's what we're called to do. We're called to take care of the people that need to be taken care of. I completely disagree with C. We don't need to leave it on the government. That's ridiculous. We need to take care of this stuff. That's what the church is called to do. But I'm iffy on because I'm wondering why they're coming over, and it seems like their families aren't able to take care of them, so you can't really say A. So I guess that then I am a solid B. Now that thinking about it, working through it. So B.
Good
Church
move.
need to take care of it.
Herrick?
Yeah, clearly the church needs to get involved. I mean, our country's not being invaded by children. This isn't an issue of national security, even though it's a border issue. But it's not like something that, the republic is going to fall because of this. So don't get crazy. The worst that's going to happen is just some economic switcheroo down in the southern states. That could be a little bit of a problem, but that's small potatoes compared to what they're going through. You have to ask yourself, there's a reason that these kids are fleeing the countries that they're coming from. There's a reason that their families are sending them, that the families are willing to be split up in the hopes that these children might have a better future than serving in some cartel's army after they've been kidnapped and drafted into it. So these kids are looking for, even though it could be the worst possible American lifestyle imaginable, it's still better than the best possible lifestyle they could have back home. And the families are sending them for this. The church should respond to this situation on both sides of the border if they can. On our side of the border, they have a lot more ability to respond to these kids and take care of them and help them out. On the other side, it's tough trying to work against the cartels that are there, that are the ones who are really pulling the strings. I know that each of these governments down in Latin America has some kind of legitimacy, but ultimately there's some kind of drug money involved in all of them. So that gets very messy on the other side of the border, and that's a whole different and longer discussion. but the church needs to be involved in that too.
So well, Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I think you guys all summed it up. Honestly, I mean,
Okay.
I really wish I could add more to that, but that is really truly what I believe. I think we need to help them. It's the mission of the church, and I agree
Well,
absolutely.
All right, so let me ask this broad question then, because I think basically the common thought here is that the church has a responsibility. There are people in need. There are people that are hungry, people that are naked. Direct responsibility. Okay. Does a nation have a responsibility to protect a border?
I would say yes.
Dan's in with a yes. Nobody else?
Yeah, I'd say yes. I guess yes.
Okay. So then how do you blend those two then? Like how do you do both? How do you protect a border but otherwise accept any number of people in who are leaving? Because I don't think there's a lot of room for disagreement here, right? Like that they have a better shot at a better life in the United States, that the church has a responsibility to care for them, but that if there's a legitimate need for a country to have a border, to be able to understand what is coming in and coming out of the country. Yeah. What is that a separation where we say, well, as the church, our responsibility stops there. We just started to care for these people. The rest are policy decisions, and that's not our deal because we kind of live here.
That's where I have a difficulty with this whole thing. Is that I see so often the church wants the government to take care of the church's responsibility. So the church pressures the government. You need to feed the children. You need to do this. You need to do that. And that's never what Jesus said to do. We are to personally.
Yeah, actually,
take
I'm
care of the
100%. That's actually kind of where that's my standard argument against people who have a problem with most of the government handout programs. I say, how do you think we got here?
They should get rid of all government handouts and let the church do it all.
Well, but the problem is the church didn't do it. That's why the government's doing it, right?
Right.
Like what happened is the church was supposed to be taking care of the poor and the disenfranchised, and all of a sudden they're starting to line the streets because the guy's like, look, if he's not going to help himself, if he's not going to get a job, if he's not going to get off the booze, then forget it. I'm done. And so the church goes, I don't want to help him anymore. And so now there starts to be poor people all over the place and go, look, somebody's got to do something about this. It's starting to bother me.
Right. And we can lament the fact that the government is involved in healthcare and that the government is involved in welfare and the government is involved in all these different things, right? But like what the state of the church should be, that the government should be able to show up on a street corner with $300 in food stamps and there's no one that wants it because they're being taken care of. But that isn't the case. Like you can lament that all you want to, but that's not the case.
Yeah, no matter what the government's doing, it's still the church's responsibility. So the church can't cop out and say, "Oh, they got this covered."
Yeah,
we still have to do this. It is our job.
It's not so much a responsibility issue in my mind. It's a missed opportunity. Here are these kids who are very impressionable right here. They can have their introduction to a new life here in America, or even if it turns out that INS gets involved and they get thrown across to the other side of the border. We still had a moment that we could share with them where they kind of had a glimpse of something, and we can actually impart upon them, hey, there's this kingdom that you can be a part of. There's this Christ who is awesome. He will change your life. They can bring that goodness back with them, or they can integrate into this society, and we can be involved in that process. Or we can just kind of sit back and say, all right, government, it seems like you've got some money and you've got a small cot over here for them to sleep on, so you've got this covered.
Right.
So,
and I think that's where we run aground is not considering both, right? Like you saying I think we have both. We have a responsibility to care for them and an opportunity to share Jesus with them. And it's the same thing. And sometimes we get in the mindset where we're going to choose one or the other. As if we don't have the ability to minister them in both ways, because I think they both contribute to the same thing. They see Jesus correctly through the understanding of both. But I guess back to that same distinction though is like, then what do you do? Like my response in my country, I open borders and people just run in. I'm not sure that's a reasonable way to run a country though. So what's a government to do? Okay, we're off the UN Council.
well, what's it say on the Statue of Liberty?
Bring me your poor, bring your...
Yeah.
But in an order in which we can identify who you are.
Yeah, so I'm big on
Using the
we
papers.
need to keep the legality of the process and illegals. This is where I wear the two hats. I think nationally, we have to secure our borders. There are people who are coming that are legitimate in need, and there are also people who are legitimately want to hurt our country, and so the nation needs to protect its citizens. The church, on the other hand, we can be more reckless and abandon and go help people and
then
so forth.
like,
Yeah.
is that tension just acceptable then? Is it acceptable to our tension to say, look, the government's going to do what it's going to do. I understand the need to close a border. I get that. I can even support or vote for that. But at the same time, I will still be down there, feeding, clothing, talking about Jesus.
Maybe that means it's more risky for me. I need to engage with the drug cartels and things. I haven't done any of that though.
No.
Nor have we sent a team.
No, that's true, and I guess that's the thing. A lot of this comes back to something that Davis hit on a couple times, which is, are you willing to get involved for the things that you're praying about, or are you just like tossing stuff in the air, or you pray like when you say, hey, God, will you help? Are you willing to be the help? Are you willing to be the footsteps?
Let's do this.
And a lot of time we're not, and a lot of time we blanket things. And we're not really preparing to jump in and work for something that God has working for. We're willing to say it, which frankly is a symptom of of our version of Christianity at points, which is the things that we like to say versus the things that we like to do, forgetting that we are saved for good works.
So do we need to send a Life in the Path team down to the border?
If we can be of service, let's check it out.
We went to Oklahoma last year and did tornado relief.
I don't know how we can be of help, but it sounds like it's worth sniffing into if we're going to bother to talk and pray about it.
I'll fight people.
Okay. You're out. They're going to send you back to Honduras.
In the name of Jesus.
They're going to say, what's that, Senor Buva?
I'm going to get off the bus. I'm going to start running whirlwinding at people. Punching.
No, that's going to help.
That's
I'm
right.
in.